Well, let's move straight to our next conversation. As debates over electoral transparency intensify, the Senate has defended its decision on the electronic transmission of election results. According to the leader of the Senate, Senator Opeyemi Bamidele, the Senate's decision to make electronic transmission of election results discretionary rather than mandatory is based on empirical facts and the stark realities of the country. Senator Bamidele added that while Clause 60 sub 3 of the Electoral Amendment Bill 2026 will deepen trust and credibility, Nigeria's communication and power infrastructure would not guarantee the real-time electronic transmission of election results as envisaged by some stakeholders. Meanwhile, the National Assembly are deliberating on electoral issues arising from the recently announced timetable for the 2027 elections by the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC. Okay, two stories in one. Biko, the Senate said empirical data guided its decision to make electronic transmission of results discretionary.
Yes.
But why are some Nigerians not satisfied with this decision by the Senate?
You know, sometimes some Nigerians push an agenda without even thoroughly understanding the issues. Many Nigerians see the country from the prism of Abuja and Lagos. They believe that every part of Nigeria is just like Abuja or Lagos. Many of them don't travel. Some of the people you see on TV with their funny-looking ties and all that, they do not travel. They do not do investigative work. Their knowledge of our country is limited. That's why some people, every northerner that they see, they believe is Hausa Fulani. They believe that Kogi people, they are Hausa Fulani. Because their knowledge of our country is limited. And the point that is being made is clear. There has to be a fallback option. Okay. Nobody has said don't transmit electronically. The propaganda that was being spread was that these people were against electronic transmission. Of course, that's a lie from the pit of hell. No one is saying don't transmit electronically. The issue is real time. Because the law is the law. If you are saying the transmission has to be real time, then if you snap election results and there is no network in that area, there is no way you can transmit real time.
That's true.
If you snap election results, maybe in Monguno, there is no network, you now have to travel all the way to Maiduguri where you can upload. That is not real time. Nigerians need to understand these issues. Maybe some of them understand, but they are just being mischievous. And we have said it is not in every part of our country that the internet works. Yes. It is not in every part of our country that you can use your phone. You know? This is what some people don't just want to agree with. That you can't use. I was talking about Senator Ningi the other day. How can Senator Ningi say POS works everywhere in Nigeria? And I'm saying go and use POS in Briningwari, let me see you. Go and use POS in Kuriga, let me see you. Because I've been to these places. The current Minister of Defense told me that when those children were taken away from the school in Kuriga, that it was the next day that they got to know. It was the next day that the military got to know. I interviewed him. The video is on YouTube. Because they could not even raise an alarm via their phones. And that is the problem even in Briningwari. All of the base stations that the telcos constructed have been destroyed by bandits, bombed by bandits. All of the banks that used to be in Briningwari have been burnt down by bandits. Okay, how do you transmit election result in a place where base stations are not working? Which miracle are you Aladdin? Which miracle do you want to use to transmit the result? Now, based on the broadband penetration in our country, stands approximately at 50.58% against a 70% target. Rural connectivity lags significantly with 4,834 unserved or underserved communities in our country. 2G networks cover approximately 87% of the voting population, but cannot support real-time media uploads.
Oh.
This is it. These are the issues. But if the law says you must transmit real time, then you must transmit real time. Real time is not, okay, I have snapped the result. Let me go downstairs. You know, even in this place, there are places where the network is stronger. People call me sometimes, even here in TVC, that we cannot freely communicate.
Yes.
That is in Lagos. So you cannot move 1 minute to go and look for where there's network. That is not real time. So if the law says real time, it means you must be able to transmit instantaneously. We know that in our country, that is not a possibility across our country. I'll just use Breningwari as an example. He lived in Maiduguri for so long. There are many places in Borno State where you cannot even use your phone. Even the governor, when he goes to Borno North, sometimes we are trying to even communicate with him, the governor and my friend, the speaker. I cannot reach them because they are in Borno North. These are realities. But people go from one TV station to another, abusing people. There has to be fallback option. Yes. And the fallback option is where it cannot work. Use this. And even in America, that's what obtains. I was asking them, I said, okay, the mail-in ballots that Americans in diaspora send, is it electronically transmitted? And as advanced as America is, a good chunk of their voting is still manual. The biggest democracy in the world is India, which is the most populated country in the world currently. India uses a combination of electronic voting and manual voting. Come on, what are we talking about? If it's simply to win an argument, then let us go to certain places. I will prove to you that you can't use your phone. Not to when you can't use your phone, how do you then transmit results?
Absolutely. I mean, Ismail, the word in contention here now is real time. Because does removing real time now, weaken the transparency that some Nigerians are now saying they are not satisfied with this decision of the Senate?
Well, I think some have just been mischievous. I recall that even before the Senate, tinkered with their own position.
Yes.
I personally authored an opinion piece based on my experience in the 2022 Osun governorship election, based on the rulings delivered by the court. You recall that BVAS was used for accreditation in accordance with the law. Now, after the election, the APC and its candidate applied for the BVAS report. And it was delivered to them July 27th. Election was conducted July 16th. Result was declared July 17th. Now, immediately after they filed their petition, PDP now applied for a BVAS report, and INEC gave them what they called synchronized BVAS report in August. Now, during the course of the proceeding, part of the argument canvassed by the lawyers were that because of network, that at the time APC and its candidate applied to INEC to get the BVAS report, some data had not dropped. Between July 17th and 27th.
Oh,
10 days.
So if we are talking about network delay, if we are talking about network delays for as much as 10 days.
10 days.
So what is the argument about retime? These are practical situations. This happened. The rulings are there. The arguments canvas are there. So it was based on that I argued against this issue of retime. because you just end up creating a chaotic situation.
Yes.
You end up creating a chaotic situation. In
Even 2 weeks after the 2023 general election, INEC was still uploading.
You know, exactly. Now, by the time PDP now applied to get the same BVAS report, August 22, that was when INEC spoke about synchronized.
Okay.
And the major argument was that that network caused the delay in transmission. Now, Borno State, there is a local government called Malam Fatori. It's 12 hours from the state capital.
12 hours?
12 hours. And as you are traversing those roads, there are areas that you can't even get network. The 4 times I was able to travel to that area with government officials, we first of all miss our way to Cameroon before we find our way back to Nigeria to access that same local government.
Really?
Osun, where I come from,
Yes.
there's a local government that will take you at least 6 hours to reach. There's a place, there's Ifeda local government, though they have done some remedial works on the road. Now, from the state capital, it will take you at least 2.5 hours to get to the headquarters of Ifedayo. Now, from Ifedayo, there's another area called Les City within Ifedayo local government. It will take you 3 hours or more to get to. So if you are going to Les City from Oshogbo,
Yes.
maximum, you take 6 hours. And I have traveled on that road before. There are places as you are going, the network will decide, you can't make up.
All right, gentlemen.
These are practical.
People are living in those
areas.
People are living there.
Are they not entitled to
In fact,
vote?
there's a particular. There's a particular area. It's not even far from town. I can't remember the name of the hamlet. We went to do commissioning there, and for the 3 hours we spent, nobody could make or receive call. Not too far from over.
All right, gentlemen, we'll continue with this conversation right after this break. Don't go away. It's still journalist